Hey YouTube, I hope that everybody is doing well today. I would like to say happy spring to everyone. We are moving into that spring season, and today's video we're going to be talking about stress, how it affects our body, and also letting go. So, as you all know, we are currently amongst very stressful times in this world. With so much stress, it really affects our bodies. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about harnessing stress, knowing what's causing it, and also methods to relieve it. So, before I get started, I do want to say that as human beings, we all stress. It's innate, it's in our DNA, and it actually roots back to an ancient survival response. So, back in like way ancient times with our ancestors, what the stress would do was that it would trigger their body to basically say, okay, we need to do this to survive. We need to collect these things, chop some wood, start a fire, gather some food for our family. And by doing that, it was able to help us survive in the long run. But something that's deep is that we're not in the Stone Ages anymore. So it's deep because the stress factors have evolved over time. So it may be work related stresses, it may be family related stresses. But what's really deep is that the impact of stress is related back to the survival impact. So anything that feels like it can impact or affect our survival as human beings, ultimately, many of the times can stress us out. So, I do want to talk about acknowledging your stressors and knowing what causes them. Okay, so when you acknowledge the stress, I feel like the feeling has less power over you. And also, by doing so, you're able to say, okay, I see what's happening, and then you're able to move towards letting it go. And letting it go is really good because if you're holding on to it for a long time, it starts to fester and it turns into something else. It can turn into anger, it can turn into road rage, and we don't want that. Another thing is identifying your triggers. So knowing, okay, what stresses me out? What causes me to be stressed out? What is something that irritates me? And this falls into knowing thyself. So when you know your triggers, when something comes up, you can say, oh, okay, like I know what this is. And feel it for a minute, let it go. But it's deep because when you know what's going to cause the stress for you, a lot of the times it doesn't have as much power over you as it typically would. All right, so we're gonna move onward, you guys, to talking about how does the stress affect our bodies. This is when it gets really deep because the rabbit hole goes very far. I mean, there are a lot of things that are impacted for our bodies as a result of stress that a lot of people don't even know about. So, for the first part, you guys, I want to talk about cortisol. When you stress out, your body starts to produce high levels of cortisol. So, what cortisol does is that it can tense up your muscles. And what this causes is body cramps. You hear a lot of people say, I have a bad neck or I have a bad back, but they're not even realizing that if they've been stressing a lot, the cortisol levels are causing their muscles to tense up. Another thing is body aches. So you'll hear people say, like, I have bad knees, I have bad joints, but they're not lifting heavy things or they're not doing anything that will cause their joints to be bad. A lot of these body aches in different areas of the body can also come from stress. Even arthritis. The cortisol can actually harden the bone and the cartilage that's within your hands, contributing to arthritis. This is what I'm talking about when it gets really deep. Also, you guys, headaches because of the capillaries that are in the brain and also the nerves. What happens is that when those cortisol levels are being produced and heightened, it actually contributes to tension within the brain, and that blood flow also isn't able to happen as it usually would, which can also contribute to headaches. All right, you guys. Another thing that I want to talk about that can happen from hypertension and cortisol levels that are rising is a heart attack. So basically, when you start stressing out, your heartbeat becomes irregular. It doesn't beat the way that it usually would. So what happens is that your heart starts to really go off of its normal function. So basically, it's going off of its natural rhythm. And over time, all of the stress can actually damage the arteries, and this can contribute to a heart attack. In addition to that, you guys, stress can also throw off your digestion, causing your body to produce extra glucose. And by producing extra glucose, this actually can affect the way that you're eating. So you may start overeating, and this can actually increase your risk of type 2 diabetes. So we want to make sure that we're really letting this stress go because of the impacts that it can have on our bodies. So I'm going to keep moving onward, you guys. I want to talk about hormones as well that are disrupted as a result of stress. So hormonal disruption can cause constipation, right? and this ties into digestion. It can cause acne by producing extra estrogen for females or extra testosterone for males. This can contribute to your face breaking out because of those excessive amounts of hormones that your body doesn't know what to do with. So it has to release them some way, somehow. And a lot of the times this can produce acne. Also for guys, moving into the sexual area, for guys, they may have trouble getting it up. They may have erectile dysfunction, and this could actually affect the sexual life with your partners. For females, they may start to have irregular menstrual periods because of those stress hormones. And what happens for all of this is that the stress and the cortisol is causing your natural rhythm to be thrown off when it comes to those cycles. And for guys, your body cannot produce testosterone as it usually would because it's taking all of that energy and it's actually pulling it towards your body so that it can calm it down. And it's almost like your nerves are firing in a rapid method. And when that's happening, all of the other functions that will usually happen are thrown off course. Another thing that is huge, you guys, especially in this current climate, but even in general without what's happening in the world, is weakened immunity. So by your body stressing out, once again, it's putting all this energy in other places, but you're losing that energy and fire from your immune system. So by weakened immunity, you also have increased risk of flu and infections, okay? Moving forward, you guys, this is one of the last points I want to talk about before I talk about steps for prevention and coping, but a rapid nerve firing. So have you ever had something happen that triggers stress for you and all of a sudden you start shaking, or you start getting hot, or your stomach starts hurting, or you just start to feel really odd, like I'm not myself right now? What's happening is that all of that stress and that cortisol that's being produced is causing your nerves to go like pew. So essentially your body is having a reaction, and however, if you're shaking or if you're hot, that is that rapid nerve firing from your nerves are receiving so much information that they don't know how to react. Okay, so from that rapid nerve firing, what can happen is that over time your body can move into a phase of chronic stress. And what happens is that you can start overeating because your body's going to look for a way to cope. You can have depression. You may not feel like yourself. You may feel like you want to just go inward and be all alone. You may not want to socialize with anyone else, but this is because that body is receiving that chronic stress and it does not know what to do with it. Another thing is sexual withdrawal. Okay? When you're not within yourself, or if you're depressed, what happens is that you don't want to interact with anyone. You don't have any typical urges. You just don't want to have any love or any emotional interactions. And that is because a lot of the times those typical brain pathways and neurons that will contribute to socializing, interacting, or sexual relations, they aren't functioning as they usually would because your body, once again, is trying to heal and recover within itself. So you guys, I know that was a lot, but I definitely wanted to lay out all those different areas because it is very broad in the ways that stress can affect us, okay? So we're going to move onward to talking about ways of coping with stress, healing from it, and also fighting it, you know what I mean? And fighting it in the way of not going against it, because you do want to acknowledge it. It's a part of being human, but fighting it in a way that when it happens, you know how to handle it and how to deal with it, okay? The first thing that I want to talk about is exercise. What's deep is that when you think about like people doing an exorcism, the Latin word is rooted in the same. This is when it goes kind of deep, but exercise meaning to get out. So a lot of people don't know that when you're working out physically, lifting weights, jogging, yoga, whatever it is that you're doing, it isn't just simply looking good on the physical part, but it actually releases a lot of pent up and built up energy in your body, which is really awesome and really deep. So that if you ever notice that after you work out you feel really good, in addition to that, your body also releases endorphins, which is like the happy hormone, okay? So that's really good to work out. If it's for at least 30 minutes, any kind of workouts that you want to do, as long as your body's moving, that's good because you're releasing pent up and excess energy. Another thing, you guys, is deep breathing. Just in through the nose, out through the mouth. This is a huge thing because a lot of the times People don't realize how powerful oxygen is. Our brain and all of our cells are living, breathing mechanisms, okay? And they strive off of oxygen. And a lot of us don't even breathe the way that we should. When you breathe, you should feel that expansion in your stomach. You should feel the air go in, and then when it comes out, you should feel your stomach go back in. And what's happening is that as you're breathing in, you're releasing all the old, bringing in the new. So if there's anything energetically that does not serve you, any stress, you can just let it out. One cool exercise that I do is a lot of times I'm breathing inward, I'll visualize light coming in, and I'll visualize like a rainbow going out, just releasing that energy. Another thing, you guys, is nature. Nature is honestly like a natural, just a natural oasis of amazingness. It's very therapeutic with the trees, especially because as human beings, we're connected to nature. Getting that sunlight and feeling it on your skin, nature is just very cleansing. So when we go out in nature and we're walking in a park or in a forest, there's so many amazing things happening to our bodies on so many levels. It's just very empowering. And a lot of the times, if you may have had a lot of thoughts in your mind or something was bothering you, you'll notice that after you come from that nature hike or walk, all of it is gone. And there's actually a lot of practices in Japan and different countries where they have something that's known as forest bathing, which is people just spending daily moments within nature to receive those healing and therapeutic benefits. Okay, we're connected to nature. That's something that we always need to keep close with us. Another thing is massages. So a lot of the times we'll have built up tension in our body, and what the massage does is that it's another thing for helping release this tension, similarly to exercise, but more on a deeper level because it's very relaxing. It addresses certain key areas. I mean, you can get a massage at a massage spot, or a lot of the times there are different tools that we can actually use to massage different areas of our bodies ourselves. So massage is very powerful. It connects to so many energy points in our bodies and helps get that energy out. All right. Another thing, you guys, is laughter. Always laugh. Laughter is a powerful medicine. It's also really good for releasing endorphins, and it just feels good when you laugh. Watch some comedy, a funny TV show that you like. It can be anything, but as long as you're laughing, that's always good, okay? Another thing is a hot shower or hot bath. This goes back into that relaxation, similarly to a massage, is that by inducing that deep relaxation via the heat to your body, via that hot water, it's very cleansing, but at the same time, it's also very calming for your nerves, okay? Another thing will be journaling. Getting all of that clutter internally and all of those thoughts onto paper is very amazing and therapeutic for your body. And by doing that, you're essentially able to release a lot of pent-up thoughts that you may have had. And the journal is like having an open conversation with someone else, but you are conducting that conversation, so no one's saying, well, this is what I think, but hey, it's you in the paper. Tell a story as you want, have the conversation as you want. Get those thoughts out, okay? Another thing that I want to talk about is different herbs that help manage stress. So lavender, you guys, is an amazing one. Lavender is very calming. You could drink it as a tea. You can put the lavender essential oil in your shower. You can make some essential oil. Just put a little bit of lavender and then olive oil or any kind of carrier oil and put it on your hands or skin. Sniff it. It'll cause the neuron and different nerve pathways within your body to actually have a calming response. So if you're ever stressed out and you sniff lavender, a lot of the times you'll notice immediate relief. The final tip, you guys, that I want to say, I talked about this in my mental health video, but chamomile. Chamomile is extremely powerful, extremely therapeutic. Drinking it as a tea or using the oil when you take a shower is very powerful. What chamomile does is that it has a very calming effect on the body. It's also used to have a really good night's sleep in the evening. So once again, like if you're taking it as a tea or if you're just smelling it, it's really, really, really good stuff. I've been using chamomile for a few years now to get a good night's sleep, or even if I feel very stressed, just to calm myself. So you guys, I would like to say that I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Please drop your comments down below, like and subscribe, and let us know what are your tips for relieving stress. But I really hope that you guys were able to get some good stuff from this video, because there's a lot happening in this world. And I feel like we can all use as much tools as we can. So thank you guys so much, and peace.